Hi, I decided to make a playlist of PySimpleGUI tips. I'm mainly making these for myself. I find that as I get older, that I'm searching for the same thing over and over again. So I'm hoping that these videos help me. But if you happen to find your way here, welcome to my channel. I hope you find something useful here. So let's get started. Why would you like to use a graphical user interface? I just think it just takes your programs, Python programs, to the next level. I don't care for the console logging and everything like that. It's fine for testing and stuff like that, but it's not really a program. So anyhow, also, PySimpleGUI is fairly easy to get started with. As you can see, they have tons and tons of documentation. The author has done a great job of documenting the product, and there's videos on it as well if you want to take video classes of doing this. This isn't going to be that. And only thing I suggest is get something in that's been made in the last year or two, because as PySimpleGUI evolves, they've made some changes that some of the older videos might put you on the wrong track. So anyhow, and another thing is with PySimpleGUI, it's as simple as just pip installing it to get started, and just don't have to download or anything like that. Just use your normal pip install and you're ready to go. So let's talk about the windows that you have. So there's two types of windows. The persistent window, they call it, is like a normal application window. It stays up until you click a button or X out of it to exit it, to close your window and the program. That'll be the main one that you are dealing with, when you're coming up with a GUI for your project. The other window is what they call a one-shot window, and the best example of that is what you call a pop-up window. We've all seen them, error messages or information messages come up, and you just click OK and they disappear. So I figure this would be a good place to start. So let's take a simple Python program where all you're doing is you're taking two numbers, multiplying them together, and then printing them out to the console when it's simplest of programs. So we'll just do that. And it says 2 times 4 is 8, and your answer is 8. And so that's the way to do it. While it's not really designed to I think this is a poor use of a GUI, but you could take it. All you got to do is import the library, and you can replace your console log with just a pop-up window. So all we're going to do is do this, and we'll run it again. And we're still doing the console log down here, but your answer is 8, and you can hit OK, and it just ends the program. So that's your information window that you can do in one line of code. Like I say, import the library and have one line of code and replace it. You might notice the only difference is that with the GUI, you have to be printing a string. So C, we have to turn it into a string here. That's everything in a GUI, any input boxes or outputs or whatever are going to be string based. That's the only difference with them. So anyhow, so let's go on to a little bit more go to the persistent type window. So this is a really basic layout that's going to show you what normal layout would look like, or a window would look like. So you have a couple parts. You have the layout, which is a list of lists. If you notice the square brackets here, that you got an outside set, and then you got other brackets separated by commas in there. So you got a list of lists. And then inside each of the lists, you can put methods that'll show up on your screen, or elements, they call them, that'll show up on your screen in your window. And then to create the window, you use this line here. This is the title. It's going to be at the top of your window, like Visual Code Studio is up here. And then it's going to use the layout, your list of list layouts, to make the screen what it is. And then to interact with the screen, you have this while true loop, and you're looking for, you always have to have this window.read in there that gets events, a click of a button or entering text or whatever. And then you're looking for these events, and then usually use if statements to react to different events. So let's start through this a little bit. I'm just going to go real fast though. So a text box just what it says. You just put text in, it's going to show up on the screen. An input box is just going to be a input that's going to be up there. And you see that we have a key here. Anything that you're going to interact with down here in your program, you're going to have to be able to identify which input box it is, because if you notice, we have two up here. So they have to have a key, which is a string that just identifies them. It has to be unique for each one has to be unique in the program. And then we have just a little text in there to just show that we're multiplying. And down here we have two buttons. One, they look a little different, but the one button, whatever you put in here is going to be what shows up on the top of the button. But buttons automatically have the key be the same name as what the button text is. And then we have this is actually a button as well, but it's a special button that is you just save a little time. It's SG exit, and it's just gonna display exit, and the key is going to be exit on it. So when we get down here, you can see that when we press let's just bring up the button so we can see what the layout's going to look like first. And you can see I didn't do any kind of formatting, so the text boxes are a little long, but you can see you got the text box here, and then that's on one line, and that's in one. So each line has its own list. And then, so there's only one item in this list. There's only one item that displays. Then you start the second list. It's we kind of just bring it down here to format it just to make it look good for us, but they don't have to be like that, but it's good practice to keep them down there. So the second list has the first text box, and then it's got this text, which is just the X, and then it's got an input. And if you notice, they're all inside of a square bracket, so they're all in one list, and they have a comma in between them. So that's what that is. And then we have a third list down here, and it has our two buttons separated by commas. So we got calculate and exit. So I'm going to move this up a little bit. So now, like I said, we're looking for, when we do push our buttons here, that it's going to do this, whatever the if statement is. So like I said, our values, every time it reads it, it's going to print out values of everything that has a value in these boxes. So if you got list boxes or combo boxes or whatever other kind of elements you got that have input in them, it's going to return these values, and that's where you need your key, because that's how you're going to reference them. So our values for the first num is going to be whatever's in this text box, and the values for the second num is whatever's going to be in this text box. And then, of course, like I say, we want to, if we're doing math on them, we got to convert them to floats. Now, I didn't do any kind of checking on here to make sure that you get good numbers, because you could put an A in here as well, but we're going to just assume that we're smart enough to put two numbers in here, 2.5. So we got 4 times 2.5, and then what we're going to do is it's going to calculate that and put it in the answer, and then we're just going to run a pop-up window and put the answer in. Now, like I said, that answer, we did a float, so we actually have a float number here, so we have to turn it back into a string again. So you got to go from string, do the math, and then go back, change, and then go to back to a string. So we can do this calculate, and we get a pop-up, and it says 4 times 2.5 is 10. Our math is right. So anyhow, that's that. And then the exit one is almost all your persistent windows are going to need this one, and exit way out of it. And this is kind of the boilerplate for doing that. We're looking for an event that is in this list here of either wing, close, or exit. So we know our exit is going to be the exit button, but this wing closed is what happens when you click this X in the corner. So that's a special one, and that's always included, because you can have windows without an X, but they generally come with the X in them, unless there's a reason not to. So we have that, and what that's going to do is just break out of our while true loop, and then so it's going to continue, and it's going to close the window before you got no more program. It's going to end the program. So we can show how that works, and we're done and all done. So that's the simple, short intro for getting started with FreeSimpleGUI. There'll be hopefully lots more, and hopefully a little shorter in the future, as we just kind of tackle one thing at a time. Talk to you later. Thanks for watching.